sense of humour.
I'll fix your driving problems, no matter what they are.
You'll find out just what I mean when you drive behind my car.
Well, they drive them very slowly for a start.
Stick on the curb, can't pass them.
Especially the men with hats.
Who do you think the worst drivers on the road are?
Oh, no.
Volvo drivers?
Volvo drivers? Yeah, any Volvo drivers.
You know, years of driving old Holdens and people never yelling at me, and suddenly I've got a Volvo and everyone's yelling at me. So that's where it sort of came from.
Heather Kroll and her filmmaking buddies Alison Elder and Tom Smith set out to find out why it's Volvo drivers, above all others, who are the butt of jokes and the targets of road rage. They set out to expose the myth.
I'll beat my horn at a stationary car, even though there's no one in it.
I think I'm quite a good driver.
Oh, a great driver.
I would say I was a good driver.
They all seem to reckon they're good drivers. They don't know how bad they are.
I didn't want to make anything that said, oh, you know, all Volvo drivers are really bad and they all, you know, they all make everyone really angry on the road.
They do, don't they?
Well, yeah, mate.
Oh, come on, mate, you're staring. Hey, you're looking for trouble.
Well, they might have failed to expose that myth. In fact, they've probably reinforced it, but in so doing, made a very funny film.
Well, people yell at me no matter what car I'm driving, so nothing special about the Volvo there, I don't think.
On a posties bike that's seen better days, Heather and Tom rode around Adelaide hunting Volvos and the people who drive them.
Hi, we're making a film about Volvo drivers. Do you mind if I come for a ride? I probably look a bit like a freak at the window. Hey, hi, can I get in?
I am Volvo man.
We haven't had any accidents except reversing. I usually have an accident reversing once a week. Never going forward, except once we drove into a herd of cows, and the cow came up on the dashboard, slid off again, and trotted off.
I am what I am.
No, I suppose you need to see the boot. Now look at this boot. It's a beautiful boot. It can take almost anything.
I've never had a cow in the boot. Never reversed into a cow, actually. Which, one of the few things I haven't reversed into.
See, I love the woman who loves the sound of the door closing.
And who loves her boot.
And she loves her boot.
Hear that? Hear that?
The film, called Herd of Cows, thanks to the guy who drove into a herd of cows, has been shortlisted in the National Pegasus Short Film Awards. These three are pretty happy with that, even though a few creative differences are beginning to show through.
From my personal experience, I found out that Volvo drivers were very sane, normal, balanced people, but in the editing suite, we see another thing, and I think that we see that Volvo drivers are possibly being a little bit laughed at.
Most important, it is a safety car.
But when it came down to it, I had to edit it to 5 minutes, and I didn't want to make it boring.
That's what we say.
Exactly. Sensationalism. Sensationalism.
I drive in the fast lane, 20 kilometres below the legal speed limit.
So, after all this research, are Volvo drivers really as bad as everyone says?
It just went round in a cycle, because is it the car, is it the driver? When you buy a Volvo, do you become a bad driver, or were you one in the first place? It was never resolved.
You get into a Volvo and you sort of, you're in another world, you're in Volvo land.
I think that the film celebrates the eccentricities of Volvo drivers. I don't mind if people jokingly yell at me and it's funny, but when people start doing road rage kind of stuff, it's really ugly. And so I hope that people see Volvo drivers in a more funny light, a lighter light.
I am Volvo man.